Welcome to the Academy of Photography. I'm trying to do videos like women's skirts, long enough to cover the subject and short enough to create some interest. I'm Christian Tudor, and today I would like to talk about the definition of good photography. What is good photography? What is bad photography? How can we measure the quality and the value of a photograph? I'm going to go through the definitions, I'm going to show you some examples, and today I'm going to introduce the Tudor Rating System so you can actually judge your own photographs, judge your own performance and some other people's with a very systematic and clear approach. So today I'm going to touch base on the definition of good photography versus bad photography. Since I'm receiving an increasing number of photos for comments every day and it already exceeds my capacity to provide feedback, I would like to help everyone out there with a camera to evaluate their own work. This education will help any emerging photographer or even more advanced ones to rate their own work in an objective manner and help them to improve themselves. In this video I would like to propose a systematic evaluation tool, the Tudor Rating System, to help people judge the quality of their own work and to others. I hope you have already seen me in many of my previous videos and you understand something about me. I like to have a systematic approach to photography. I like having tools and recipes that eliminate the guesswork and the risk of failing the shots. Despite the claimed subjectivity of an art form, like anything else, there is a methodology to help you get across the line in terms of quality. Having a method will ensure quality in your work, just like any other activity. For those of you who are working in the corporate world and are aware how to implement the quality into a business, this will sound probably familiar. Photography, like any other art, is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. Today I will teach you how to get the 90% done properly. The advantages of having a methodology are clear to me. You will have a recipe applicable in 99% of the cases. Your system is a proven system to work. And as mentioned before, I would like to call it the Tudor Rating System in photography. Let's talk about elements that define good photography. 1. I believe content earns subject or the story. Every photograph tells a story and it should tell a story. One picture is worth 1,000 words. I'm sure you already heard about that. It is a known and proven fact that content is the king. The quality of your story will define the quality of a photograph. Content can impress and leave your viewer with an emotional reaction. I'll just give you one example. Photojournalistic images of human events, war, hunger, actions, or even happy events, they are good examples for photographs telling a story. Everything interesting that happens in the world can be captured in a camera. In case of photojournalism, it is less important what kind of composition or if the image is not 100% sharp. It is the drama that sells, that appeals to people, or anything else. The more people relate to the image, the better the value. Like any movies, music, painting, or strong content can promote a photograph. Imagine the music created just for the message. In terms of quality, it does not have to be the best, but the strong message behind it, it will make people connect and that would make it valuable. The second element of an image in terms of value is the language. How do you want to tell the story? And I'm talking about composition. This aspect addresses to the human understanding of beauty. This appeals to the subconscious level, telling us that the image is beautiful or not, and if it is attractive or not, and it supports the content and the visual arrangements in a photograph. Not having a composition creates chaotic arrangements and prevents us understanding the subject, creates difficulty identifying the story. I have provided a comprehensive composition video already. I hope you already seen it. If not, follow the link below. You might want to have another look just to understand the role of composition as a language to convey a message. A story told in a poor language destroys the experience. As a funny example, I watched the Terminator movie with the voiceovers in German and also in Hungarian once. That was a long time ago and I can tell you it was an awful experience. Do you have any idea how bad that was? And number 3, and the last one, is the visual quality of the image. And now we are talking about the technical photographic skill. We're talking about the packaging, which is the quality, the sharpness, the focus, the color, the brightness and the contrast. and everything else that requires a good tool, a good knowledge of your camera. So we're talking about how good your camera is and how good you are in handling your camera. This can raise or destroy a photo from a value perspective. As an example, what is the point photographing something very dramatic with a lot of content value which is completely out of focus and dark? The technical ability to produce a high quality image will support the other elements, but plays also a critical role in the final value of the photograph. So let's introduce the Tudor rating system. I am proposing a system from 1 to 10 for each element above, 1 to 3, and the final rating will be the average of the 3. It's as simple as that. I would say that a full 10 is very difficult to achieve from many reasons. One of them is also from the fact not everyone else has the same perception, the same understanding, and the same value in terms of content. A very simple example is a wedding photo with a perfect execution in terms of quality and composition. Will rate 10 for the bride in terms of content. It's her wedding, but probably it will rate 4 for anyone else, 3 or 4 for anyone else in the world, as the wedding is not an event which is that special. And I'm talking about world context. I would rate the value of a photograph between 1 and 4 being not valuable at all, 5 and 6 being mediocre, 7, 8, 9 and a very good quality photography, and 10 probably the best when there's the successful combination on all three aspects: content, language or composition, and visual quality. I would like to give some practical advice for all the people that wish to send me photos for critique. Stand still for a moment, sit back and try to have a fresh perspective. Rate your images from 1 to 10 for the content, 1 being the most average and uninteresting subject like people walking on a street, and 10 should be something extraordinary. For example, a man shaking hands with an alien. For composition, you can rate the same from 1 not having any consideration for the composition to 10 following successful few rules of composition in the same time, complementing the subject. For visual quality, I would rate 1 taking photo with a webcam or an iPhone, to 10 the sharpest and the best lit image taken with a professional DSLR. Since I am flooded with many submissions, I would like you to rate your images first. Send me only the ones you believe are above 5 mark and tell me why you believe so. Show me your rating process and we'll talk. There are plenty of enthusiasts among you grabbing their cameras and shoot whatever comes to their first and the closest and the most comfortable, and they send them to me for comments. Please remember that my time is valuable as well, and I wish to bring value and quality to other people. Sending me photos with no consideration is a waste, and I will ignore them. I'm also receiving a fair share of great photos that even I cannot take, and that makes me very happy. Please check the critiques section of the website for a variety of submissions. My intention is quality step up, and if you rate your images first, it will help yourself improve, think, and try to do a better photography. Ask yourself the following basic questions. What do I want to tell with this photo? What is the subject? What is the story? How do I make myself clear in the photo? What is the composition? Why is this image good and not other? Is anyone else able to take the same image? Why is this image mine and reflects my personality and my personality only? So this rating system should not be only for sending me photos, it should be for your own self. If you think before you press the button, I will say you're halfway towards better photography. Just a few examples I want to give you to see exactly how I think and how you should think for yourself. I will finish this video with 3 images and I'm going to place few comments. Today I'm going to show the portrait of a girl under a bridge, just a normal image. I would rate this content 5. A portrait of a girl sitting on the rocks is just a portrait. It's a normal subject. I'm sure the photographer and the model can rate this higher because it relates to themselves. But this is a fair proof that photography is subjective. This rating is trying to be as objective as possible, eliminates the discussion like I like, you like, with no reasons behind it and why do I like it. For the composition, I would give it 4 or between 4 to 5. I can recognize the diagonal tilting as a tool to create an interesting visual effect. I do not believe it complements the best the subject. I see the subject as the girl, and that is lost a little bit in translation and overpowered by the heavy bridge support. The girl would have been better off larger in the image and perhaps following another compositional element, as now it is not in the middle and it is not on the side, so it's a little bit confusing which is the subject and how big is that and how important is in the picture. The lack of balance is a little bit disturbing, and I don't believe that's the best choice for this photograph. In terms of image quality, I would give it a 6. I can see some image quality behind it, and I can recognize a bit of editing. That means there is a bit of skill behind the photographer's knowledge. The general tones are very nice, the red a bit contrasting with the rest of the image, and the face of the girl is lost and overpowered by the other elements, and probably I would have wanted to see more of her face. As a general rating, that's a 5. I would call this as a mediocre image. Another photo that I want to talk about is girls in the bar with bottles. For the content, I would rate it a 2. Nothing special, completely average. You can see girls drinking in all the corners of the street. Image quality is a 3. I believe this is an obvious rating, as I do not see anything in this picture that makes me like it. Subject is not interesting. There are bars everywhere, people drinking and enjoying a concert. There's no composition consideration. At least I do not see one. Is this about one girl or both? Is this an accident? I see the flash on the top of the camera, I recognize it, and I do not like it. The second girl is more in shadow, not from the intent, but from the flash low power. I see randomness and chaos. The overall rating for this is 2. I would not rate this as a good photo. I'm going to talk about the third image and the last one, sunset and a tree. Content, I would rate this as a 6. Sunset is a pretty overused topic, but in this case it is a little bit more than that. There is an obvious dialogue between different elements, and that makes it above average. We are talking about the sun, and also we are talking about a tree. They talk to each other. In terms of composition, I can see the intention. Elements are contrasting and complementing each other. There's yin and yang, there's light and dark, there's a dialogue. Both elements breathe nicely into the image. They both have enough space around them. In terms of image quality, I would rate this an 8. The image is good, it's smooth, it's beautiful, it's warm, maybe a little bit too warm. It is pleasant to the eyes. Just doing the average, the overall rating would be 6.66. Let's round it up to 7, which puts this into the above average towards good photography category. And I'm always happy to receive and comment on such images. I hope this tool, Tudor Rating System, is useful not for those of you who want to send me a submission, but for everyone else out there trying to improve themselves. You don't need to send them to me first. Just have a look on your own photos, answer yourself the question I posed above, do a little bit of rating system, and think about your photography and try to be as objective as possible. That will improve your skill and craft before you know it. It will force you to think, it will force you to try to achieve something. I believe I made a pretty good definition of good photography versus bad photography. Of course, there's always a little bit of the subjective factor, but overall, I believe the more people you address to, the better value. These days, everyone with a good camera and a little bit of training can get outstanding clear pictures, but that's not necessarily it. We are talking about only the image quality. So achieving image quality is easier. The quality of the language and composition takes a little bit of time to understand, and on top of that, the content is the king, and that is something that cannot be taught. It's up to you how you want to approach this. The happy combination of all of those three, if you rate yourself above 8 for all of those three, that means you are doing good photography. It is my own definition. I will be more than happy to see other people embrace it, but this is up to you. Feel free to share some of your work, and if you do submit me pictures, please give them a rating yourself first. Tell me why and how did you rate them, and after that I'm happy to see them. That's it for today. Until I see you next time, I wish you happy shooting. Thank you very much.